Hello and welcome to Newsblitz. I am Atinuke Nuke. Before we continue, remember the coronavirus is a deadly disease. Wash your hands with soap for at least 20 seconds regularly or use a hand sanitizer. Also wear a face mask when outside and maintain physical distancing. Now to the news. To further ensure probity and best practice in the mining sector, President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday directed the Presidential Artisanal Gold Mining Development Initiative to provide a 6-month progress report on the Solid Minerals Development Fund, designed to capture accrues from investments. At a briefing by the steering committee and management team of the body at the State House, the President charged the team to scale up operations in the mining sector by ensuring that investments go beyond artisanal and small-scale levels. President Buhari urged PAGMI to ensure that the Solid Minerals Development Fund fast-tracks delivery of other directives to support the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative.
The Presidential Artisanal Gold Mining Development Initiative Management Team should now develop innovative ways to move Presidential Artisanal Gold Mining Development Initiative to the next level to ensure the Nigerian mining story goes beyond artisanal and small-scale mining. I support the steering committee's target of aggregating 3 to 5 tons of gold over the next 12 months, as this will deliver tremendous fiscal and economic benefits to the nation. The Solid Minerals Development Fund should work with government agencies to identify the support and funding needed to deliver on this aggregation target.
The Christmas holiday is officially over, but only a few federal civil servants have resumed duties. Our correspondent, Aishat Olaoye, who was at the Federal Secretariat in Abuja on Wednesday, saw a low turnout of workers. Aisha reports that by 10 a.m., the Federal Secretariat was not as busy as it should have been, as some officers were still under lock and key.
On Friday, 24th, the federal government declared Monday and Tuesday as public holidays for Christmas celebration. Following the directives, workers are expected to resume duty on Wednesday, the 29th. It's 10 a.m. at the Federal Secretariat, and only few civil servants are seen making their way to work.
We know within 2 days or 3 days we go off for break again. So if one is a very patriotic Nigeria supposed to resume work today?
No, it's not proper. It's not proper because it's a long holiday, and at least, you know, we Nigerians, we are fond of taking things for granted. But that's, the holiday is enough. It's long enough. Spend with your family and you come back to work.
Some of them maybe that traveled, they are on leave. And those people you see that you are seeing around, they are the people that are not on leave.
This is not the first day. It do happen yearly like this. For us to be in the office today, there is no much turnout today because some people are still on their transit traveling, or some people are still making preparation of traveling. But the federal government has declared today that work must resume today, tomorrow, and next tomorrow before going for another vacation, another holiday for New Year again. So,
according to one of the respondents, this attitude to work goes all the way to the directorate of the ministries.
From the top, the thing is rotten. If you go to office up to the level of directors has not come yet. Who do you think the ordinary messengers will do?
Although the low turnout after the Christmas holidays has become a yearly thing with civil servants, they are being urged to change for the better.
Being at home while there is work, being at home is also a part of corruption. So I advise all the civil servants to always put in their best and make sure they are punctual at work.
But beyond all this, these civil servants are already fixing their eyes on the new year. Top on their minds is security. They say government must do all it can to make Nigeria a safe place again.
And they tackle this insecurity, that's the most important thing. Because without security, insecurity, nothing can move forward, you know.
New Year's Day is beckon, and it is highly unlikely that the offices you see here will witness any dramatic increase in the turnout of workers on Thursday or Friday. It will be interesting to see if staff finally turn out on the first workday of the new year. From the nation's capital, Aishat Olaoye, Silverbird News 24.
The Senior Special Assistant to President Muhammadu Buhari, Garba Shehu, has given further insight into the President's decision to withhold assent from the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2021. In a statement on Tuesday, Mr. Shehu said the move is part of efforts to protect the democracy of the nation, and the President will do whatever he can to protect it. President Buhari had last Tuesday declined assent to the Electoral Act Amendment Bill over the direct primaries clause. In a statement sent to the National Assembly, the President cited several issues with the clause, including legal, economic, security challenges. He added that it would also impact negatively on the rights of citizens to participate in the government as constitutionally ensured. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission plans to transmit election results electronically in 2023 is currently doubtful, as the federal government has revealed that only 473 out of 774 local government areas in the country have internet access. By implication, 301 local government areas have no internet access. Thus, transmitting election results in those areas may not be possible even in 2023, even if the Electoral Act is amended. According to the National Development Plan 2021 to 2025, launched last week by President Muhammadu Buhari, the government projects that 697 local government areas will have internet access by 2023. They also noted that there are no 3G access in over 300 local government areas in Nigeria, adding that this was part of the issues which the Nigerian Broadband Plan 2020 to 2025 was put together to address. The Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board has clarified that candidates and visitors below the age of 18 years are not qualified to present COVID-19 vaccination cards before being granted access into JAMB examination halls and facilities. A statement issued on Tuesday and signed by the head of JAMB Media and Protocol Unit, Fabian Benjamin, said those mandated to provide vaccination cards are persons converted under the NCDC vaccination policy. Benjamin said the clarification became necessary because it discovered that many underage candidates were making frantic efforts to get vaccinated, with some even falsifying their age to be vaccinated just to access services at the board's facility. The board had announced a policy of no vaccination card, no entry into any of its facilities nationwide, but discovered that many underage candidates were making frantic efforts to get vaccinated, with some even falsifying their age to be vaccinated just to access services at the board's facilities. To check activities of bandits in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory Administration has advised the owners of abandoned or uncompleted buildings within the capital city to complete these structures or face sanctions. These sanctions, according to the administration, include revocation of the 435 tiles of abandoned and uncompleted structures within the capital city. In a statement issued in Abuja, the FCT Director of Land Administration, Adamu Jibrin, said the affected structures have become shelter for bandits and as well other persons with criminal disposition who use these uncompleted buildings as hideouts to perpetuate their nefarious activities against the residents. In a statement signed by Abubakar Umar Dembo, in charge of Information Customer Services Abuja Geographic Information System, warned that the same fate may befall owners of about 600 undeveloped plots in the Federal Capital City. The Resource Center for Human Rights and Civic Education has called for the declaration of a state of emergency on security in parts of the country. At a press conference, the group's executive director, Ibrahim Zikirullah, said invoking emergency powers will signal a fresh resolve to tackle the existential threat of insecurity. He, however, expressed dismay over the gruesome killing of a serving commissioner in Katsina State, a member of the House of Assembly in Kaduna State, saying their death indicated that the perpetrators of those dastardly acts have no fear or respect for the capacity of the state to arrest, prosecute, and bring them to justice. Here is more on what he has to say. Well, sorry about that. Now to Kuchingoro. The new Kuchingoro internally displaced persons camp in Abuja is home to over 2,000 internally displaced persons. In the spirit of the season, a humanitarian group has provided camp dwellers with free medical services and relief materials. Peter Ishaya has more on this.
This is the new Kuchingoro internally displaced persons camp in Abuja. It is where over 2,000 persons displaced by the Northeast insurgency have now called home for the last 7 years. The people here didn't have the luxury of celebrating the Yuletide with friends and family. The things they lack here are basic: water, sanitation, and healthcare. But in the midst of all of these, there are some who have risen to the aid of the most vulnerable by providing emergency relief and medical care to families here.
We've seen a lot of things so far, like there are some medical outreach going on. We've seen some of them have a very terrible health condition, and we are trying to arrest that with our drugs and our medical team. We will be taking care of, I think some have diabetes, which we are going to be taking care of their health and the rest of them.
Beneficiaries of this outreach say they are delighted by this visit, which has rekindled their faith that one day their ordeal will be over.
Surely they have been taking care of us medically, feeding us, bringing clothes, but the main is empowerment. He empower one person with substantial amount, he can depend on himself. He will never depend on any other NGO.
These IDPs have become increasingly dependent on acts of kindness by individuals or organizations. But government has to step up to the plate.
Better off we all reach out to them and make sure that we take them, see them as our own, as part of us. We won't just wait for the government alone. We are the government.
This act of kindness by this group could well rekindle the faith of these IDP in humanity and fire up their faith about one day returning to their ancestral lands. But for now, this NGO says it will continue to do all it can to make their lives here a little more bearable.
Still on IDP, residents of the new Kuchingoro IDP camp Abuja may very soon become homeless as the owners of the piece of land where they currently dwell has asked them to vacate the place to enable them develop the land. The IDPs, while speaking to our correspondent, say the threat is becoming more intense as they have been given until the end of December to evacuate the place. They are calling for an urgent intervention of the government on the issue. Correspondent Luciana Arey has more.
Lack of basic amenities and neglect by government is currently the list of problems faced by IDPs in New Kuchingoro. They now have an even more bigger problems: threats of imminent eviction from the camp.
He come meet us that they say before this December we go leave this place, and our chairman he come meet her. Chairman she beg her, say may she leave us like 3 to 4 months. Maybe government will help us with the money. We go rent house. Abi will give us another place where we will live. She say lie, she no go agree.
Residents of the camp since 2014 say the pressure for them to leave has been building for almost 3 years, and government is yet to intervene.
They have been telling us these things for more than 3 years now. We have been here for 7 years. So they started this issue of leaving this place. The landlords have been threatening that we should leave about 3 years now. We've been begging them that we cannot go anywhere. Somebody who is living in a tent made up of cement bags. We managed to come here. Then where do we go and get shelter again? We don't know where we can go.
These IDPs say they desperately need government intervention for housing, as their previous homes are still threatened by insurgency.
Now only God, we go live for God, because for our village, nobody go fit go there. Even the person go fit go there, no be now. But now, if you tell person say go your village now, he no go fit go, because this Boko Haram never finish. And this place where we dey here, We dey happy because of some people they help us with food, clothes, even medicine, and government they help us. But now they say no come out. We don't know where we go come out go. But what we go talk now? We want to beg government, may they help us. Every day where we go come out for here, government may they show the place where this IDP camp go sit down. Now only thing where we go beg for government be that.
We don't even know how to start. We are from Kaduna. If you know say Christ is too there for Kaduna, as you can see my leg safe now gone short. So now God just help us. We can't just come there for here. Then we don't know how we go do, and that Christ is never finished for our side. So we don't know how we go do. They are pushing us now. We don't know how to do. We are just begging for the government. May they just help us, because if they tell us more we go now, we don't know how we go do, and we don't know how we go start, because our area never settled still up to now.
The new Kuchingoro IDPs have found themselves between a rock and a hard place. They cannot return home yet, and now they face an added pressure of being evicted from a place where they now call home. Luciana Rain, Silverbird News 24.
Sad one there. You are still watching Newsblitz, reaching you live from Abuja. We will be back with more reports after this break. Please don't go away. As the 9th Assembly goes on its annual recess to resume on the 18th of January 2022 for another legislative business, the lawmakers in the Red Chamber have made considerable successes in passing bills, motions and resolutions, while at the same time faced with many challenges that almost eroded the people's confidence in the parliament. Senate correspondent reviews the year 2021 and the performance of the 9th Assembly. The year 2021 has been eventful despite the global pandemics and challenges that came with it. For the National Assembly, specifically the 9th Senate, it has been a year of mixed fortunes. The 9th Senate had various bills and motions considered and passed by the 109-member Senate. Some among the notable bills are the Finance Bill, the Constitutional Review, the Petroleum Industry Bill, now the Petroleum Industry Act, the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, which President Muhammadu Buhari declined assent. Perhaps the most challenging one for the 9th Senate since inception and in the year 2021 is the state of security in the nation and, of course, the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. Taking a critical look at the events of 2021, how well has the National Assembly fared and what should Nigerians look forward to in the year 2022 in terms of legislation? What is likely to be the major focus of lawmakers?
Change the budget cycle, which was a major issue in running the government of this country. And that enables the executive to commence the implementation of the budget from 1st of January.
Look at the security situation. We've been making a lot of reviews. We've been looking at the architecture, and the Senate set up a committee which worked on modalities of how we can face these challenges squarely.
To say that the 9th Assembly has performed on its primary responsibility of lawmaking, that is a plus to the 9th Assembly.
So many private members' bills were passed, and most of them were for educational institutions. And that goes to show that that is the trend for most of the occupants of the National Assembly.
More bills have been passed in the 9th Senate, more than any other Senate in the history of the National Assembly. And Mr. President have assented more bills.
Debating and passing the 16.3 trillion naira budget of 2022 presented by President Muhammadu Buhari was another major nut the National Assembly had to crack as a result of borrowing to fund a budget deficit of 6 trillion naira. In view of dwindling oil fortunes for the country, depletion of the nation's reserve, weak naira and many more, the Senate had to summon courage to work on the budget notwithstanding. Though the lawmakers are not sure if the country will be able to finance the budget. These, an economist say, may have dire consequences.
I know countries are borrowing. I also know that countries find it very challenging to pay back. But if you have a creditor, such as China, and wants to collect the money back, you have to do everything to pay. I also think the challenge is that government runs as public sector without private sector spirits. I think authority needs to put MDAs on targets, and chief executives must be on their foot to ensure that those targets are met.
The National Assembly rounded the year up with the passing of the 2022 budget into law. This will mean that the capital budget is expected to run concurrently with the extended 2021 capital budget. It is hoped that the year 2022 will hold a better legislative year with resolutions that will work in the interest of the people. From the National Assembly at Tinuke, Silverbird News 24. You are still watching Newsblitz. We'll bring you more news from the foreign scene after this break. Stay with us. The UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres is urging countries to make recovery for people, planet, and prosperity of their resolutions for 2022. Mr. Guterres, in his New Year message, said countries could together make recovery for people and their planet, their prosperity. For an economic rescue, the UN chief said that wealthier countries must support the developing world with financing, investment, and debt relief. Meanwhile, to heal from mistrust and division, he affirmed that a new emphasis must be placed on science, facts, and reason.
The world welcomes 2022 with our hopes for the future being tested. By deepening poverty and worsening inequality, by an unequal distribution of COVID vaccines, by climate commitments that fall short, and by ongoing conflict, division, and misinformation. These are not just policy tests, these are moral and real-life tests. And they are tests that humanity can pass if we commit to making 2022 a year of recovery for everyone. Recovery from the pandemic with a bold plan to vaccinate every person everywhere. Recovery for our economies, with wealthier countries supporting the developing world with financing, investment, and debt relief. Recovery from mistrust and division, with a new emphasis on science, facts, and reason. Recovery from conflicts, with a renewed spirit of dialogue, compromise, and reconciliation. And recovery for our planet, with climate commitments that match the scale and urgency of the crisis. Moments of great difficulty are also moments of great opportunity to come together in solidarity, to unite behind solutions that can benefit all people, and to move forward together with hope in what our human family can accomplish. Together, let's make recovery our resolution for 2022, for people, planet, and prosperity. I wish you all a happy and peaceful new year.